Welcome to JCEE Connect. In the yesterday's class, we were discussing about the type of arbitration process and what is why the arbitrator is required um, during or the building a contracting process as well as during a tendering process and other disputes regarding the building construction activities. So now that is going to the end of the third module. So then now we'll move on to the fourth module. So in the fourth module, you have the estimation of water supply and sanitary works is there. So in that, maybe we will estimate the uh, the septic tank design, soak pit design, manhole design, and the water tank. So before going to the design aspects of or the estimate part of the septic tank, um, we'll see why this septic tank is required. What is the importance of septic tank in environmental engineering? Um, what are the design details? Once you know the design details only, then you can estimate the each and every part of the septic tank. So now we will move on to why the septic tank is required. uh, what are the construction details of this septic tank, and which are the major problems in associated with the septic tank and the soak pits. So now, what is the meaning of this septic tank? Maybe you have seen um, in rural places. Of course, it is very important because in rural places normally there will not be any sewage will be discharged directly to any of the sewer networks, because where it is a decentralized type of um, sewer systems, means wherever the sewage is going to generate, there only they are going to degrade it using the help of this septic tank and soak pits. Of course, the construction design and the development of the septic tank is very important, because most of the uh, pollution related to the sewage can be uh, made in the septic tank, or it can be easily reduced in the septic tank only. So then, a septic tank is a below ground water tight box. We can take it as a watertight box which is made up of the concrete or the plastic or the fiber glass. Normally it is concrete only. Often about uh, the dimensions are of 9 by 5 by 6. So length, width and height. So that is what normally it is of that much dimension. Of course, it depends on uh, how much quantity of the sewage is going to generate. That how much quantity of sewage is going to generate is depends on the number of peoples that are present in their family. Normally, if it is of 10 to 12 members in your house, then you can use 9 by 5 by 6 feet of if it is more than 12 members or 25 members or 30 members, so you have to increase it the the dimensions with respect to the number of persons who are there in even your family. So then it separates the liquids and the solids, provides the digestion of some organics, mainly by the bacteria which lie without oxygen, and storage. So discharge is partially filtered and clarified effluent to the drain field for the final treatment. So two cases, two things are very important here. It is going to separate the liquids and solids. That is the first thing it is going to do its job. Second one, with the help of not only that, once it is separated, even the final treatment can be made with the help of the soak pits. Sometimes the septic tank followed by the soak pit for the complete treatment of the sewage, whichever it is going to generate in the um, your latrines mm, or the uh, uh, septic type of basins. They will provide it for disposing the waste whichever is going to generate in the rural places. So in this, normally the anaerobic bacteria is involved. This anaerobic bacteria is going to digest the whatever the human feces it will be there, which is going to generate in the latrines. It is digested by the anaerobic bacteria. Once these anaerobic bacteria are digested, whatever the human feces are there, it is going to divide into um, small number of pieces, thereby generating some of the gases. So that gases consist of the carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, that things are there, that we'll discuss in detail in the next part. So then once it is digested, so then means once it is digested means whatever the pollution related to the septic tank is going to be reduced, and finally it will be disposed to the land. Even after that, no treatment is required. Then who has a septic tank system? If a building with plumbing facilities is not on a city sewerage system, then in most of the cases it has a septic tank system, also known as on-site wastewater disposal system or subsurface wastewater disposal system to dispose of the wastewater. Normally in cities also they will implement it. If you take some example of apartments, if the apartment is not connected to any of the central sewerage system, then they have to build the septic tank in their apartment itself, and it has to be treated in the in-house treatment system only. Normally that we can call it as on-site wastewater disposal systems. Means the wastewater is treated in their apartment only. If it is connected to a central sewerage system, then whole sewage is taken into one central wastewater treatment plant. Normally that we can call it as the municipal sewage treatment plant or municipal wastewater treatment plant. Then there we are going to treat with many of the treatment plant units like screens, grid chambers, sedimentation process, then after that filtration process and all those things, followed by some of the biological treatment units. Of course, we will not go in detail about that. But if it is central systems, that will be treated separately. So then what is an on-site wastewater treatment system? So an on-site wastewater collects, treats and disposes all the wastewater produced on the building. So just like a septic tank. So then this septic tank is going to build it in the uh, apartment itself, maybe which is of about um, 20 by 10 by 10, they are going to create it. So if it is a bigger apartment, normally they will increase the size of that septic tank. So then conventional systems of this on-site wastewater disposal systems, that includes normally septic tank, a distribution device and the drain field. So that septic tank we already discussed it. Distribution devices means whatever the pipelines associated with that septic tanks. Then the drain field. Then what is this drain field is? The drain field is also known as the nitrification field. Nitrification is nothing but your sewage consists of not only if you see the composition of the sewage, it consists of nitrates, it consists of phosphates, um, then it consists of very less proportion of potash, that is K. So N, P, K are all the major compositions of the sewage. So then once this normally this we can call it as a nutrients. N, P, K we can call it as a nutrients. So I already said that these are rich in nutrients. Then once these are rich in nutrients, to eat that nutrients, there will be a generation of nitrification bacteria. This nitrification bacteria is going to eat that nitrogen containing food, and it will grow inside the system. So in this drain field, um, um, normally the nitrification process is going to happen. So then it contains a pipe and other approved materials. It receives the effluent, a partially treated cloudy liquid from the septic tank for the distribution, uh, treatment, and whatever the partially treated effluent is there from the septic tank, it will go to the this drain field. There it is going to absorb. So approved drain fields are made from many materials including pipe, gravel, plastic, uh, chambers, concrete blocks, polystyrene aggregates, and other piping materials. So normally this is a uh, uh, final point of the disposal point. Normally that we can call it as a drain field, where the partial treated septic tank water is going to drain there, or it is going to end there. Then normally what reactions are going to happen inside this septic tank? So this is organic materials is nothing but the whatever the sewage what we are talking about. This sewage, the organic materials. Why sewage? Normally we can call it as organic, means we have organic and inorganic, two types are there. So organic means not only your uh, human feces consist of NPK, it also consists of the carbonaceous organic matter. Means even carbon it will be there in this organic matter, or the human feces, or the wastewater, followed by whatever the nutrients NPK, C. Then once it is digested with the help of the bacteria, then the methane is going, anaerobic bacteria, already said that the anaerobic bacteria it will be there. Once it is digested, the methane, carbon dioxide, ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, and finally the biomass. Biomass means it is the multiplication of the bacteria. Assume that you have one nitrification bacteria is there. That nitrification bacteria is going to eat the nutrients along with the carbonaceous organic matter. Then it will multiply its growth. So normally the growth will be exponential. Exponential in the sense, one, if it is one it is there, tomorrow it is two, then after 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, like that it will be there. So that much exponential growth it is going to happen. So how much bacteria it is going to make? So that much gas is going to be liberated. Normally the sulfates under the anaerobic conditions of a septic tank are reduced to the hydrogen sulfide, that is H2S, a pungent and a toxic gas. Normally if H2S gas, if it is there, if you are exposed, normally you will become unconscious. That is one of the biggest problem in the septic tank, because hydrogen sulfide is very dangerous, and what we are speaking about the ground corrosion is also going to happen in some of the sewer networks if lot of hydrogen gas is there. So nitrates, organic nitrogen compounds are reduced to ammonia. Because of this anaerobic conditions, the fermentation process takes place, which is ultimately generates the carbon dioxide and methane. So that nitrates, whatever we are speaking about, that is a nitrification process, which is going to convert the ammonia. Normally, we can call it as a nitrification process. And whatever the carbon dioxide it is going to generate, that is nothing but the fermentation process. There we are going to generate the methane as well as the carbon dioxide. So methane, a potent greenhouse gas. Some of the wastewater, even that also consists of the phosphates. So this is normally the abstract of this anaerobic digestion process. See how the organic matter is going to divide into multiple gases and other things. So gases means the gases which I have listed, that is carbon dioxide, methane, H2S and ammonia, it is going to generate, followed by the biomass. Biomass is nothing but humus. Then what does this on-site disposal systems do? This on-site disposals avoids the spread of disease by preventing the human sewage from the contaminating the ground surface, well water supplies and the streams. This is normally a typical sectional as well as the plan of the septic tank. You can see that um, it is made up of cement concrete of 1 is to 2 is to 4 normally. Then they will use a 12 thick cement mortar below bottom of the tank, so that there will not be any leakage which is going to happen from the tank. Once this leakage is going to happen from the septic tank, it is very dangerous to the groundwater as well as the surface water. So normally if the groundwater table is more, then directly it will penetrate whatever the leaked sewage is there, that is going to um, introduced into the groundwater systems. And the main problem associated in the rainy season is that during the rainy season, if this is going to happen, it is 100% it is going to reach to the surface water. Once this all the nitrates, phosphates and all other things are generating, then it is going to join the surface water. Then normally the eutrophication process is going to happen. What is this eutrophication process is the increasing the content of the nitrates and sulfates into the surface water body. That too, if it is a stagnant water like lakes. If river type of system is there, it may not be problem, because the normally it will flow. Once it will flow automatically, the water is going to treat, there will not be any problem. Once if lakes, if any stagnant water is there, no water is coming out and going out, if it is happening, in that cases normally um, this kind of um, eutrophication process is going to happen. Once this eutrophication is going to happen completely, the plants are going to cover the surface of the water. Maybe you have seen some of the lakes which have been covered by some of the leaves. Means it is due to the excess content of the nitrates and sulfates. So once it is there, means it is highly polluted. So once it is polluted, once the leaf is covered with um, once whatever the surface is covered with the leaf, then the sunlight will not penetrate. Once the sunlight will not penetrate means automatically the dissolved oxygen is going to uh, will not going to enter into the surface body. Once the dissolved oxygen as well as the temperature which is not entering means the stagnation is going to happen. Once the stagnation is going to happen, the dissolved oxygen present in the water is going to decrease, then fish survival will not be there. Once this fish survival will not be there means it is nowhere fit for any of the purposes. So then if you see the top surface, they are going to even that top surface is um, made up of the concrete roof, or sometimes they will use some of the tiles, kadapa tiles they will use to close it, but make sure that it is completely uh, oxygen should not enter into the um, this septic tank systems, so it should be airtight. Of course where one type of ventilation they will provide it, so that there should not be any busting of the tank should not happen, because H2S as well as many things are very dangerous. If it is completely accumulating, if you are not allowing any gas to escape, then 100% is assured that the gas pressure it will be there, completely it is going to burst. And they will construct the wall using the brick walls of cement mortar, then inlet it will be there, then exit it will be there. Of course in this different regions are there in the system that will discuss in detail. This is how normally it will be there, septic tank, and followed by this soak pit. In this you can see why the soak pit it will be used. The soak pit will be once the sewage is treated, then it will be disposed into the soak pit, where in the soak pit whatever the it acts like a filtration process, then finally it is drained off. That we'll see in detail the next slides. So they have given different dimensions, this is a plan and this is a section. Normally two compartment it will be there in each of the septic tanks. Of course it depends on 2 or 3 or 4, depends on if more peoples are there, then normally we will provide 3 to 4 compartments in a septic tank. This is how you can see the septic tank. You can see in the septic tank, of course this septic tank is made up of poly styrene type of septic tank, where it is completely closed. But this kind of systems you can keep it at anywhere. You can lift those tanks and you can keep it at anywhere, so that nothing is going to happen. It is just like wherever you require you place it and do it. First one is reinforced um, concrete. The second one is fiberglass reinforced plastic, that is FRP. The third one is the polyethylene polypropylene type of septic tanks. If you see the cross section of this tank, normally the wastewater will enter from the left. You can see the mark there. It is going to enter from the left, then it is going to digest it using some of the anaerobic bacteria. At the top you can see the scum layer. You can see this scum layer which is very rich in microbes, and at the once all the things are digested, once the digestion process is going to end, then it is going to become destabilized. Once it is destabilized, um, automatically it is going to settle. Whatever the sludge is there, it is going to settle at the bottom. You can see the sludge accumulation at the bottom. And the second compartment, the two compartments are there, the first compartment and the second compartment. Once it is partially digested, it will go to the second compartment. Once the second compartment uh, is going to, again it is going to digest remaining the wastewater, so then it will be disposed to the soak pit, where in the soak pit um, whatever the wastewater is there coming from the septic tank, that will be drained and it will be purified there. At the top you can see the hatches that can be used sometimes uh, to clean the manhole or to clean the septic tank. These are of course a very important um, normally up to 15-20 years, if it is overflowing, or if then it is better to clean it, the septic tank. Of course when 20, 25, 35 nothing is going to happen, but every alternate 15 or 20 years you have to clean it and make sure that it has to be digested properly. Maybe the remaining contents of the septic tank we will cover it. After this we will go ahead with the estimation part of the septic tank. Why we are discussing this means, if you know the importance of the septic tank or why it is required, then only you should be able to do the estimation of the septic tank.